And still, GENG with that Baron play, or rather what happened before that, was still almost able...
The counter throw, the counter throw.
Well, somewhere in the middle there,
yeah, right.
was still able to almost bring it back. So I'm gonna slow down, I'm gonna calm myself, and I'm gonna see what happens in this draft. But we go to game 5. I think your waters might be feasting tonight, my friend, as we are going to see GENG now on blue side. Should also be big. The Varus going to get taken away as well. And Humble Life going to be feeling forced to ban away Zeri. There we go.
Okay, so here is the adaptation in the draft that the desk was calling for. Cassante, first pick. And now, Humble Life Esports, do they fall into the Ashe trap? Do they elect instead to just get powerful solo lanes? And I actually honestly think Sejuani Yone is actually just a really good first 2 picks. But Xayah will be picked up instead. So sort of the tier list approach to the bottom side of the map with no Zeri or Lucian. Xayah feels a lot better, as Aphelios was a ban that Humble Life Esports were putting down off the rip, honestly, on the blue side. So Aphelios Thresh is going to come through here into the Xayah Rakan. Pretty face up on Humble Life Esports' side, but I like this more.
Same. We prefer this. We know that Life is very good on both these 2 champions. It's not like his Rakan is a slouch, but I really like the Blitzcrank into Thresh for many a reason. This is also new and improved Thresh with an incredible amount of Qs that he has available in the fight. And Humble Life, the reason why I'm a little worried is because this is looking a lot like the draft in game number 1 and 2. Yes, this has a lot of power. Yes, you got great team fighting. But I need to see a proactive mid lane here for Zeka, because the cast talked about it a little bit as well. We did during the, or the desk rather, we talked about it during the cast for a bit. Zeka actually making moves on the map was what stopped that early dragon. It was what set up the bait in mid. It's what got the snowball rolling. And if it's there's a Yone ban, GENG clearly agree. And I think that's an amazing choice.
I think they need to ban Gragas. I think if Hanwha just like R4 and 5, Gragas, Yasuo, it's kind of like over. Especially now that Zeka knows that you need to click on the champion with your ultimate.
Yeah, imagine winning a game against D+ while not knowing that. That could never happen, right?
I know. I have a feeling that he might have been a little bit facetious. I hope he was a bit facetious.
I don't think he was.
I know. That's what I'm afraid of.
Well, that's what makes it funnier.
This man should not have this much power. All right, Hanwha. Will they just... I really want to see the Gragas locked in. Just because it is so flexible, and we are going to at least get it hovered for now.
I think it makes sense. What I'm worried about is GENG at least isn't here, but what you can do is you can go like Renekton
and Nidalee?
Or Gnar and then Nidalee, yeah.
Not Gnar, I hate Gnar Nidalee. Gnar Nidalee makes me very upset.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I might be what ends up happening here, because I do think the Renekton has a much worse matchup into the Gragas specifically, and you don't know where it's going to go.
True.
GENG, though, not going to do either of those things. Is it just going to be Vi Ahri again?
Vi Lissandra again? They could just go the K-Sandra. Use Aphelios as the win condition this time.
I'd say Ahri, because I think that the Lissandra does have a much tougher time into the... I love that. Into Xayah, especially.
LeBlanc into Yasuo? Specifically?
That's... You're ready.
I am ready. Does he give it another whirl, is the question. Because there are a lot of knockups. It is going to be the Lissandra consideration instead. Does kind of go against what Zeka has been good at, which makes me less excited, as Gragas for Zeka, so that's still melee, and they are going to take away the Gnar. So Gragas should be able to survive at least into LeBlanc, but this is not quite as inspiring as what I had in mind.
No, I know, because the Yasuo with Rakan and Gragas actually amazing, but I think the mid lane matchup might have deterred them from that one. And it's going to be the Gnar. Gnar and Cassante, we know, can go either way, is favored for Gnar, but not to the point where we should expect Doran to really struggle. And we again have Peanut and Chovy on a mid-jungle duo with a lot of agency. Pays on one of his most comfortable picks here, with that Aphelios locked in. And on the life, that's not a lot of range. If you get to the late game, if this Aphelios gets fed, I'm very worried, and this is feeling a lot more like some of the earlier games in this series, Atlas, where I'm looking at the Hanwha drop, like if you can get to like 20 minutes and it's even,
you're having a bad time. Well, we'll have to see.
Good,
we'll have to see how it goes, because I honestly feel like GENG do have a lot of ways to deal with Rakan engage, which I think is a lot of what they're going to be relying on. And Life's Rakan has looked not super the best.
Which is so weird.
I know.
Because he's been so good in the champion.
I mean, his, like, the ruler life, like Kai'Sa Rakan back in the day, like Kalista Rakan. Man, he's been very, very good at the champion in the past. And now he's going to have to bring it out here in game number 4. Backs are indeed against the wall. They are orientated in the space that they are in.
But that's where Hanwha likes
That's what I'm saying, right? So they've been backing. They're like, oh, found the wall. We've got some stability. And now we're looking to move forward. They have taken that first step. We'll see whether they can take the rest of them here and move us towards Silver Scrapes. Let's get on to the Rift for game number 4. Oh man, Gnar is just a very strange thing. As we've got an angry bee, and Chovy was just having a little bit of a cry, and then he gets a little bit confused. Why are you being so aggressive there, Zeka?
No, I think he
got hit by a Q or something.
Already chunked him a little bit.
Yeah, and so Zeka got angry bee. And I look, I didn't understand that was the context. I thought it was like just off the rip, I'm just going to angry bee at you. I think that's overly aggressive. But if he did get hit by an ability and then angry bead, absolutely
that makes it okay.
No, it really does. That's sort of the etiquette
of
the emote game at level 1. As Zeka can see him, and it was a distortion onto his face. As he's going to be able to hop back and get himself the ward. Nicely done.
Going to be aware of where the opponent is starting. Opposite sides of the jungle here, and would expect Paze and the Light to play very aggressive early on here. The Glacial Augment on the Fresh, no shocking turn of events there. And this is the game where either GENG punch themselves a ticket to the winner finals, or Hanwha Life force me to open my eyes and look at my hands, which might very well happen. I think the team fighting power that this composition has is amazing. We've seen T1 come back with a very similar composition, the Gragas, the Xayah, the Rakan, right?
Yeah.
Against a KT that was dunking on them. But given how the series has gone, I really appreciated a Hanwha Life draft that had a lot more agency, and I think now on red side, they often default back to this, which is a lot more of the hang back, you know? And if we see a great opportunity, we might go for it.
Well, I mean, I'd almost counter that, and I got a weird reason for it, right?
Hit me.
I feel like the reason Hanwha won Game 3 was because GENG had too much agency and used too much of it. And Hanwha have been a team that have just played to counteract enemy mistakes, and GENG had too many opportunities to make mistakes with the draft that they had.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's the case in this particular game. But we'll see whether Hanwha have enough tools now to make it happen. Because, man, like, you get yourself into a late game, like, skirmish or team fight around a Drake, and you have so many playmaking avenues, right? Like, there is Gnar, there is who doesn't have to worry about Talia for the engage. You've got Gragas to set things up. You've even got Sejuani. You've got Rakan. Like, there are a million different ways to make things happen, as Chovy is going to take Zeka for a walk, and Zeka is just going to accept it. And does find a nice little trade there. As GENG push the wave in on the bottom side, Peanut turns up. And both junglers hanging out here bottom side. Peanut should be able to grab himself this Rift Scuttler. As Clid going to go for a bit of a back and return towards, I'd assume, the top side to collect a Rift Scuttle of his own. Especially with the fact that, oh, Peanut actually doesn't sweep that out. So full information now given as to the location of the jungler as he goes home. So that's certainly good news for Hanwha Life Esports here in this early stage. But of course, no skin off the noses of GENG.
Yeah, my expectation is that we're really going to see this game accelerate when we get to the first objectives. That's why I think that the individual pick potential that GENG has is extremely valuable, and Hanwha Life, I think, gets like one bad team fight is, oh, Doran might be in trouble here. They did have a ward, so he knows very well that Klid's on top side, and it also means the Light and Pace can go in a little bit deeper here, but sums are available for Viper and Life. I don't know if they can get a lot done here, even with Lantern.
Delight could definitely start something up. Is it a flash play angle is the question as Life. Oh no, the hook is going to connect there. The Lantern goes down. Battle Dance is pretty powerful. And Peanut is just going to have to vacate. He does help deal with the minion wave on his way out. But Life not having to actually use anything there. That is a great sign here for Hanwha Life Esports.
So, yeah, so the trade is really good for Hanwha Life when it comes to the summoners. But the wave state might be a bit rough here if Paze and Delight can keep it shoving into them. Although I think Viper and Life with Klid also in the general vicinity not going to feel too bad. So nice early pressure absorption here to come through from the Hanwha Life bot lane.
Yeah, and we do have to remind everyone, you mentioned this already, Paze Aphelios. I believe when he came into the LCK, it was double the most played of his second highest. Like, he played the majority of his professional games on this Aphelios. It was one of his best, I believe, over a 60% win rate or something like that.
Yeah, and Atlas, you've casted the GENG team in Challengers this split.
I have. They have been pretty. They've been pretty quid. They've been.
Yeah, they haven't been that great because they're missing specifically this player Peanut now on the top half of the map.
Yeah, Kingin trying to charge up that Naba as the all-out does come through. There's the hop from Kingin. Klid's going to turn up, and it's a disaster for GENG. Or is it? Let's see what they can do. There's the Nara into the wall. The wallop's going to come down to follow it up. Peanut should be dying, and Doran's actually kind of popping off. Klid's going to need to find the permafrost, and he does. Peanut's the one to escape. Klid throws out the happy bee. And Hunt, oh man, look at you. What? How are your hands? Chronicler, I think that you owe Hanwha Life Esports an inspection of your hands.
Not yet. Not yet. I'm holding off until the game is won, Atlas.
I think I mean, isn't a 4-1 still kind of a game? Like, sorry, a 3-1, it's 2-1, like 3-1 outcome.
Is it a series? I'm seeing hair bet. No, we're not doing a hair bet, G-Sun. If you don't know for 100% where the enemy is, you can't go for this. Kingin also has his Narma almost available, and frankly, Peanut should have died.
Yes.
Right? Like, he barely stays alive here. I think Klid cancels the auto. I'm not sure why else Peanut would be able to get out there. And the fact that the play didn't even... It wasn't even as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that could have been way worse. If they double, then I'm looking at my hands, okay? But they don't. So it's not a full disaster yet, but these are exactly the type of plays that we saw GENG make in the previous game that backfired heavily and left them scrambling as Hanwha Life picked up all the pieces beautifully.
Doran still with some control of this lane, as we can see. Ahead in CS, although that will be evened out. It's bottom side of the map, still just fine for both sides. Of course, scaling available for both the Aphelios and the Xayah. But I think I like Xayah in this composition quite a lot. And I think a lot will hinge on how Delight is able to orchestrate the beginning of a lot of these plays. As he flash plays to look for Viper. There is the Featherstorm that they will collect using just a hook and an ignite. Really nicely done here from Delight.
Yeah, Delight.
I'm unintentional.
Yeah, Delight now going to with Justice Flash, put Viper, or Flash and Ignite rather, put Viper on the back foot. And yeah, you're getting Herald, but we've seen this is a classic right here. We've seen this one countless times. Oh, you go for Herald, that's cool. Our jungler is going to walk near bot lane, and we have crescendo.
Yeah.
So CU trades better now, and I can assure you, it's this guy.
Yeah, I think Paze will at least be able to get a couple of plates. Is that a third?
God.
Yes, it is. That's insane.
That's a full wave denied as well. And they do need to get Drake though, and they need to not lose the ensuing fight. But like you get an early Ocean, and you get 3 plates on your Aphelios, who, by the way, if he is going down to like one minion on a call again, I will lose it.
Well, there are 14 left before he gets that. He's going to get 5 from this wave. It's going to have to be
it's going to be 6.
Oh,
and I think the next wave is a cannon.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Okay, so it's going to be 2. That's fine. I can handle that.
Well, Chovy going to mimic a distortion here and throw a chain towards Zeka. Doesn't actually manage to get the root, but it's fine. Zeka is just living his best life as a good old Gragas. And he's only down a wave. Should be A-okay. Catalyst should be coming in relatively soon as well. And that's where, you know, your life gets a whole lot better. And as far as gold is concerned, you know, we're talking about Aphelios getting a bunch of plates there towards the bottom side. Fantastic for GENG. But I think in an even game state, Almora is still feeling absolutely peachy. And the way that GENG won in the first 2 games was severe snowball. It was not letting Harmer Life Esports actually have any ability to play the game in the mid-game. And this might be a way to make that one work, as Viper immediately going to have to cleanse. There is the Lantern. Hook is going to connect, and it's on to Viper. Okay, Life, can you actually find it is the question. Oh, the overstep from Pays perhaps, but no, he flashes, gets himself out of this one, and Harmer Life Esports, they keep their Viper alive.
And as I say, no sums, Viper cleanses, so egg on my face for that one.
No flash, though.
But I didn't have flash and Featherstorm, so I got carried away. But more importantly, cleanse now taken, and even though they don't end up getting the kill, that is again going to be a lead for the bot lane here for GENG. So we're accelerating pace, and I really like the Harmer Life composition when it comes to late game, but I do think with like LeBlanc and Aphelios, you can never be counted out.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Amount of aggressive pressure that I expect Chovy to have into a team that, like, how do you actually deal with Chovy jumping in? It's tough as, oh no.
Just going to wander into a hook here. Nice play there from Delight as well, as Life going to be told to cease trying to escape. And he will, as that is the Life that we saw first couple of games. A little bit unfortunate there. Greedily looking for vision.
Oh, and that was a really nice layering as well, because Life had flash, so they made sure that Peanut was like holding his ultimate so that even if Life would flash, he would follow him, save that till the very end. And with Life that, guess what?
Yeah, it's the full turret that will be taken here. Pays a gigantic advantage, as that is 4th turret collected. Let's have a look at this. Look at how relaxed he is as well.
And then gets to cancel the grand entrance.
Really clean.
Very well done. And we haven't seen Herald used yet. Doran backing here. Oh my god, he's just going to be fine. Okay. Huh.
He will be fine. His turret may be less fine. We'll just see whether Shelly is going to be able to give Viper some money. She will.
Lane swap's answer. Kill force done now for Pace. It's a really big spike here for the Aphelios.
Yeah, I think it's very important that Viper was able to actually get that money, though. Might help him stay somewhat relevant in this game, even if it is a difficult ask already. Without that, would have been almost impossible. As we look towards our next fight, 1.5 minutes on the Cloud Drake, and that is Gale Force done. I believe
very nice.
You were talking about.
I was. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You always know what I'm thinking, Atlas.
Well, I think that, yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I do. I'm thinking that you just want to look at your hands, but you won't because you're stubborn.
I wouldn't say I'm stubborn.
Are you being a bit stubborn about that?
Well, I'm being a bit stubborn about it right now, but I feel like that doesn't apply to me as an individual.
That's what a stubborn person would say, just so you know.
Oh yeah, I walked right into that one. As Pace is going to get a bunch more plates.
He's going to do it again.
He's just on a diet of plates only.
When he does his grocery shopping, he goes to IKEA, man. That's what happens. He just eats all the plates. All the plates. Well, there's a large array of plates there.
That's why he's so fed. You know, normal people, they see their food and then they eat it, but then he also eats the plate.
He's on like the porcelain diet.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Look at the gold.
No, it's absurd. And he's 0-0-0. It's all money from structures. They're also going to be able to get first turret blood here, so that money is going to go up even further. And GENG, that is the entirety of their gold lead, and it's a considerable one now. It was Hanwha making plays in the early game, but now, utilizing this Aphelios this effectively, they've just got so much money. And yeah, 1,600 gold.
Look, it's 1,000 on pace.
No, it's insane. And he's ahead in farm as well, as they've just been walking them around.
This just makes me disappointed that he's not better at Ziggs, because I feel like it would be perfect for him. You know, he's running from turret to turret, getting plates. And now we do have the... Oh, Peanuts in the pit.
Yeah, he's going to have to flash to get out of the pit.
Oh, Delight.
Yeah, Hook is going to connect. Not a lot to get from it, as Peanuts back in once again. All right, that's a flash forward. Don't know about that one. Cease and desist comes through as Peanut will go down. And now the Lantern can be taken by Doran. Chovy dives on in, trying to get some poke damage down as we even out the Dragons. Oh, Orcs, what have you done? Actually just the least valuable Drakes in this game.
I also have no idea what just happened there and why they fought the second time. So Peanut Qs in, then flashes out because they're ready.
And then Qs in again.
And then he Qs in again. And then Doran is like, I will save you! But that didn't quite work. Yeah, because the zoning from Zeka actually really valuable there, if I remember correctly. Him being on the side meant that the rest of GENG couldn't approach. As we're going to see a replay of this, yeah. Obviously, like the teleport from Nar doesn't really matter, but look at Delight, Pace, Chovy, not really able to walk up there. And also just, I think, somewhat baffled at what is going on. And that's going to be the Drake. That's going to be a free kill donated to Humble Life. And 2 more of those, and I'll look at my hands, Atlas.
Yeah, very interesting situation here. As Peanut looking for Shirley.
Should be fine. Should be able to get this. Without too much trouble, and we haven't mentioned Chovy as much because the game hasn't been about him, but he is still up 23 CS, and he is the sole source of magic damage, and the enemies really want to itemize armor because there is a monster fat Aphelios on the enemy team. So life is kind of great for Chovy, and he just got another turret as well.
Yeah, and managed to get the local gold for that one.
Yeah.
As the map is becoming a better and better place for GENG players. The copium for Harmon Life Esports is the fact that they have their outer turret in mid. So that helps.
Hey, they have a great teamfight comp. You know, T1 won a game, and it was way worse.
That's true. I mean, I still think that it's still a game that Harmon are still feeling okay about. Especially being able to stand their ground around that Drake Pit. As Clid going to secure his red buff and make his way out. Peanut not going to be able to deter him there. As Viper just trying to get towards those quick blades as soon as he can. Will be Bloodthirster done pretty soon, also for Pays.
Chovy has his bench, he's done. I would have loved the Shadow Flame, like I said. I think that right now you're in a position where you're able to do so much effective damage. But looking at the enemy team, there are not a lot of squishy targets, right? It's even Zeka is actually fairly beefy as Clid and Kingan.
All right, they're looking for it. Glacial Prison comes down. The grand entrance going to be flayed very nicely, and the hook comes through, but the wallop is going to connect onto Peanut. And there's not a whole lot that GENG can do about it. Great pick from Hanwha, who found another one here in this mid-game despite the gold deficit.
And that's big, but at the same time, they did invest 2 flashes to kill. Well, if they get Doran as well for free, then it's a great trade.
Well, it might be for a few boomerangs, as Doran is going to get hypered once again. There's a flash forward from Clid, as they get a teleport, as Zeka is coming into the mid lane, as they know what they want. And it's not Zeka to be hooked, as Cask comes on through, and Zeka is dead. Pays is going to be able to lock that one down, as Viper starting to pop off in the fight as well. Collects himself 1 kill, but now has to try and navigate 4 people. It's not going to work out, as Clid is also going to go down, and GENG fighting around Pays, looking so much better.
Oh, Viper is trying so hard, man! But it's not happening. Chovy there, together with Pays, doing an expert job, and Zeka. Well, if you're hard-forcing a play, trying to kill Cassandra on bot side with your Gnar and your Sejuani, you can't also go in for the TP there. And this is this is going to be rough, right? It starts off so good. And actually, Hamlet kind of falling in the same trap that their opponents did. Because I think this is a heavy investment, but this, if you're able to get tempo of this, if you're able to get a mid lane turret of this, power to you, right? There's no Drake, but this investment can be worth it. But then here, the hook from the light hits. FaZe does a great sidestep here, then flashes the grand entrance, and then this is where like, oh, Viper maybe, but crucially FaZe is fine. Clip can't find him, and Doran promptly responds with a teleport of his own. And then, yeah, Aphelios didn't get killed, so he can just kite back. Chovy, meanwhile, is doing a ton of damage as well, and that might be it. And I'm just, I can look at my hands now because I don't think there's anything on there, Atlas.
Well, I think there's still definitely a game on there, mate. But Hammerlife Esports, they certainly struggled in that moment, and losing this outer turret, absolutely huge as well. Shirley going to come down, and Peanut will be able to collect their first Tenacious Dragon, which abbreviates to Tenacious D, as you guys know. And Shirley will be taken down. So, Hanwha, back to the drawing board a little bit here, and we'll see whether they can find the team fights that looked good from before, or whether GENG, behind Delight, whose Thresh has just been extraordinary today.
Oh, yeah. Really has been.
Yeah, it's been very, very good.
Such a cool story as well, right? Obviously, Delight coming from way back when he was still known as Crescent, played for GENG with Pace. Most notably, those guys have a history together. And then on Brion, like always being good, but he was never the main point of that team. So many characters on that one, obviously.
Yeah.
And him and Pace coming in and like following up as, oh, Doran.
Okay, let's see how this one's got. That Moonlight Vigil was optimistic at best.
Yeah.
Better players have longer range on their abilities, and Pace, I think, thought that he'd got to the next level, but wasn't quite there yet. I think that's how it goes.
Nope, did not work out. GENG is gonna not be able to get anything, or not even anything invested there from Viper. They're both completely fine. It's a big team fight ultimate gone now. And I'm looking at Chovy's third item because, as mentioned, I do think itemizing Amara is very hard for the opposing team. And he is already very fed.
Yeah, I think Deathcap into Void Staff is still probably fine.
Look at that big ward. They know this is happening.
And is it Crescendum next here for Pace? Because that would mean that this Baron will just explode. Does have a bit of, yeah, a lot of ammo to get through. And so it looks like the Baron is not going to be flipped. I'd recommend that, as flipping the game at this stage is probably not what you want. Quick Blades going to just be completed here by Viper. Zeka not going to get hit by the chains. That is very, very helpful. But you can see this side lane being controlled by Chovy, putting that pressure on King and trying to do the same thing here towards the bottom lane. Does have his Black Cleaver and Trinity Force both done. Still gives me the heebie-jeebies looking at Black Cleaver and Trinity Force together.
Why?
Because it used to be redundant.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just something inside of you.
Yeah.
No.
And I know it's not the same anymore. But double Pahage, you know, used to make me very sad. Anyway, it's a bit of an aside. I think I've spoken about that too much.
Nothing.
That's like a grandpa, just it's time to go to bed type situation.
Yeah. Nothing that really resonates with me like the triple lifeline.
Oh, good stuff.
And Pace going for Lord Dom's third here. I'm also, if I remember correctly, both of these AD carries did in fact go cut down, which is nice.
Hey.
Yeah, because there's a lot of health and a lot of tankiness on the enemy team, as GENG is just going to get an inner.
Well, they're going to look for it. They might also get a king in, as they don't, but they do get the inner, like you were talking about. Zeka going to complete his Seraph's Embrace, but that means that he's not here to help defend. Peanut looking to move back towards the Baron once again. And I actually kind of like that. If you've got a split pushing Cassante, bring someone over that can do damage when you get to the turret.
That can help him actually take it down.
Yeah.
Peanut's just going in.
Yeah, he's just walking towards them. Chovy going to come on over as well. Make sure that this inner turret goes down also. And Kingen looking for that flank angle, but he's just going to call it, move towards that top side to try and answer the minion wave. And GENG collect themselves so much map control and then move back towards the Baron and to Fog of War. as that minion auto attack just continuing forever.
And if we get to like Supreme late game, I think the Hanwha Life composition can always get it done. We know Viper with an AD carry with as much team fighting power as this is incredible. But I think they're going to lose the game because on this spike. Because right now we have Cleaver for Peanut, who isn't the main point, but at least he gets a second item. Has had a rough game here. But most notably Chovy, I don't know how much gold he's sitting on, but he's been sitting on these double rods for a fair amount of time. And if he's 16 and he has Rabas, while Pays also just finished his Lord Doms,
that's a big spike.
Yeah, I don't think he gets a fight for Nash. He is very far off of 16, so I don't think he'll hit that. But even just getting Death Cap will be humongous here.
And also they're kind of bleeding Hanwha Life Esports out of any resources right now.
It's LeBlanc with Banshees, right? It's so hard to collapse on the trying though.
Yeah, and Clid throwing an ultimate to Narnia is not really going to get it done. Cease and desist coming through here as Gragas trying to keep himself alive as Pays just going to destroy him. Kingen not going to offer too much back there as we get a zoom, optimistic zoom there from Jonas Strong, but we still get a zoom anyway, as the hook is going to go moderately wide. As Nah comes through, connects onto the Cassante, as Doran is just not exactly too worried about a turret, and in fact, just bring him over, predicts it, as he can walk through the base gate, but still, Pace just does so much damage. Presses Q with that Infernum and feels real good about it. And now the inhibitor turret is going to be taken down. Hanwha, you're going to have to try and look for a fight at some point. And needs to be while you have players that are alive.
I think we just saw why Hanwha Life was permabanning Aphelios. It wasn't actually about pace. It was about making sure that the light doesn't play fresh. Because, my God, man. What a masterclass here from the GENG bot lane.
No one tell GENG that you can also play Jinx Thresh and it's fine.
Hey, it's not the same, Atlas. It's not as powerful.
As Zeka, here in this mid lane, clearing out waves, they will be able to take
GENG's ready for this.
Soul point. And Hanwha, last-ditch effort. Move on over to the Baron. And if they can establish themselves, there is a possibility something could happen, but this is a haymaker.
It's a Hail Mary. All or nothing here.
Yeah, Chovy still has that Banshees as Moonlight Vigil connects. Are they tanking up? Pace just dives forward. He's burning down, and Viper will secure the kill. It's a zoning Gnar ultimate, and Viper is now dead. Great knockups are going to come in, but Chovy is still alive, and no one is touching him. He can just do whatever he wants. Life is hiding as best he can. It's a horror movie for this Rakan as Chovy is just walking past him. He'll connect the chains, and goodbye Life. He says, oh, I missed you, buddy, from last year, but I'm sorry, I'm going to have to put you in the death chamber for a while I win this game.
And that is going to be it here. GENG, yeah, they dropped game number 3, but game number 4, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Completely decimating Hanwha Life here in this final game, Atlas.
Obliteration once again, and this time it was back to how they won the first 2 games, and that was with a better game plan. As Viper going to be taken out, he does take Delight with him, and this is not the end for Hanwha Life Esports. They will be now down in the lower bracket to face off against KT next week.
And maybe that is where we will see the Hanwha Life we saw in the series against D+. But today, GENG, it took a Pantheon support for them to lose. And it wasn't Hanwha's. Really incredibly well performed here. I think this final game in particular really solidifying kind of the overall tale of this series. It's of Delight, it's of Pays, who get so much resources from the rest of the team. And
no,
then
they didn't. They got them from Hanwha Life Esports as turrets. That's where they got the resources.
Yeah, you know what? Fair enough. Man. Doran is just, it's just there.
I had a good time. You guys aren't thinking about the dive from earlier on or anything like that. It's fine. Everything going A-OK. And GENG booking themselves a summer final rematch against T1 in the winners final. That is going to be a very interesting one, mainly based on what we saw from this series. And that was very well executed, clean play from GENG and game plans that looked extremely well practiced. And if they can actually make those work against a T1 that went to 5 games against KT in what was chaotic at best, right? If they can play to their game during that series, I'll be very, very impressed. And it will mean,
man,
whoever wins that series goes to MSI.
That is going to be an incredible series. I'm just, you know, I've been following PaCe for the last year, and if you told me that this was the performance he'd have in his first LCK Best of 5, man, I'd be surprised. They're looking good. Doran, also a player that I think deserves a lot of credit. Yeah, that early dive wasn't great, but the consistency that he brings, and even though we saw some glimpses of the Doran of old, right, who went for plays that he shouldn't have gone for, I think still is a big part of what makes his roster work. Peanut doing kind of the opposite of scaling in this series. Both his game 3 and 4 were not necessarily amazing, but he got the early leads, obviously having an incredible game as well when Chovy was on the Lissandra. And Chovy is another example. Like, there's so many things to talk about with GENG because we didn't talk about him that much this game, but he was also, I'm sure when we see the damage charts, he's going to be very high up because the consistent amount of harass that he was able to find was very, very impressive.
And I think this was the game-losing play.
Yep, I agree.
This was where Hanwha sort of ran out of the control that they had in that moment. They were very slightly hanging onto the edge, and this is where they kind of fell down. The double kill on top of the like billions of plates that PaCe was eating around the map really did spell the end. Not out of it just yet. Another opportunity for Hanwha. The GENG, they are through to that winners final with so many opportunities to head towards Jamshil for the final of spring this year and be one of the teams to go to MSI. Still, no one confirmed just yet. Still 4 teams with the opportunity to get there. 2 of them with some lifelines as well.
And we also need to remember that even though they weren't able to win, up until the point where Peanut made that unfortunate face check, GENG is one of the few teams that actually have been able, in the regular season, obviously after KT yesterday, we can add another one to the list, but they were one of the few teams that was able to stand up to T1, which in of itself I think is a huge achievement with how good and consistent they were. And for Hanwha Life, I don't think that today was reminiscent of their best showing, like we saw when they played against D+, but there are a lot of things that they need to fix when they go up against KT, because if you have early games like this, that means it's a Lahan's playground, and you can't allow that. Not against KT in its current form.
No, I don't think so, especially with what we saw. KT is, oh man.
Yeah.
Zeka really not having a great one in this final game, but Chovy, massive damage. He was your POG, right?
No.
Oh.
What do you think I went for?
Well,
it was Delight.
I hope that he can be saved by my boys in media. I mean, Delight was fantastic, but
those hooks were too good, man.
No, he was absolutely amazing, and I think Delight probably deserves it this time around as well. It is time to throw it over to the space though and see what they thought about the GENG victory.